Well, good evening. Today we're here to talk about more of the responsible leader. We're almost at the end of our leadership acrostic, and the I does stand for responsible. And we're going to break down responsibility a bit more than we did last night. And we're going to say this, that leaders are dependable. Now, a responsible leader is dependable because that leader is very much aware that their team depends on them to be at certain places at particular times and to do certain things. They know that that leader will definitely stand by their word and do exactly what they wanted to do. Now, I'd like to go back and talk a little bit more about dependability and what that means to a person that is on the team of a leader. I once was a leader in my church. I was a choir leader, and there was a young woman in our choir who was blind, and that woman had a service dog. As a matter of fact, this dog and I got along very well because I happen to drop food whenever I eat. And that dog learned that about me very quickly. And wherever her mistress was sitting, that dog would always be laying where the nose was pointed in my direction to catch any food that I might drop if we were sitting in a restaurant or something like that. But this dog got very used to me. And the reason that the dog got very used to me was simply because of my dependability. One of the things that I committed to do was whenever we traveled and we had to go somewhere outside of our church, that I would take this young woman and her dog with me. I would drive. If we had to go to a different part of the city, if we had to go to another close by city or community, she always knew that she had a ride with me, to the point that I actually even carried a blanket in my trunk for years for the dog. The dog would always know that when it came to my car that the dog was a she, that dog would wait, and then she would get into the car, and she knew that once that blanket was on the back seat, she could lay on the seat because she'd be on the blanket. If that blanket ever fell for some reason, the dog would just actually get onto the floor of the seat of the car in the back seat. But now I say that because one day, just in talking to the young woman who I was transporting with her dog, she said to me, you are really a woman of your word. Whenever you say that you're going to pick me up, you always do. And I never really thought about it. I felt this was somebody that needed help. I wanted to assist her in whatever way I could back then. And so I decided that the best way to assist her was to just drive her wherever we were going as a choir. And I then began to realize how much someone may depend on a leader doing what they say they're going to do. Now, I was always in a work environment where I had to be dependable and I had to do certain things at certain times, but never in a volunteer environment had I had someone say that to me, express it to me, until this young woman did. Now, I work to the same standards whether I'm volunteering or not, but this particular woman articulated it, and that's where I began to see how important it is for a leader to be dependable. So my question to you before we wrap up this evening is, how dependable are you? Can people depend on you to be where you say you're going to be, to do what you said you're going to do? Can people almost set their watches by you in terms of what time you'll be there? Think about that. How dependable are you as a leader? How dependable do you need to be as a leader? And what will you do to be more dependable as a leader? Thank you so much for taking the time to listen. Have a good night.